Because we okay.
Four frames for longer times. And this is a thing that especially happens in fighting games where you can have melee attacks. So you're not gonna hit the attack on the first frame, but if the opponent is jumping in on you, you can have a hitbox out that kind of protects you. And also you can set up melee attacks that if they just stand up, so you hit near the end and get more advantage. And there's all kind of things that you can do if we have this system that allows us to have more active attacks. And I think even for something like a Metroidvania, this would make the combat feel better and more responsive. So I'm actually going to teach you this method of implementation, which is more versatile. You can use it for these simple cases where we just have one frame where we want to attack, but I want to teach you this one so you can also use it once you go into making your more advanced games like this, where you want to have more active hitboxes. And the way of doing this is to not create a notify here. We can create a notify state. However, this is an actual asset we create in the content drawer. So we can go back to the content drawer, go to blueprints, blueprints, and right click and make a new folder called notify states. And open it up. And here you can right click, create a new blueprint class, and yeah, we can look here for notify state. And we want to use the paper ZD anim notify state. And this is one specifically made for paper ZD. And select. And I'm going to call it ANS for animation notify state attack. And double click to open it up. And if you just look at it like this, it doesn't really have anything going on. But the important thing is these functions. We have 4 overridable functions, and that is what we're going to use to set up the functionality of this. So we can click here on override, and we want to get the on notify begin, and click again and also get the on notify end. So this triggers once the notify starts, and this triggers once the notify ends. But just so you get a better view of this, we can first add it. So compile and save, and here in the AS captain, we can now right click and add our notify state. And before we didn't have anything here, but now that we created this asset, you can see the ANS state, well, ANS attack, sorry, here, and we can just add it. And this allows us to drag it like this, so you can see that it starts here, it ends here, and this is exactly what we see here in the ANS attack. The event on begin notify happens here on our first point, and the end notify happens here in our last point. So this means we can use the beginning to make the hitbox active and use the ending to make the hitbox inactive again, which is, I think, the best setup for this. So we can first set it up here. So what we want to do is we want to start on frame 1, not on frame 0. And if we just drag it like this, it's kind of hard to do. So you can just right click it and notify frame for the beginning is 1. So now it starts perfectly at 1, and we can right click again, and anim notify state frames is the length. And we want it to be active for just 1 frame in this case. So it's only going to be active for frame 1. But if you wanted to, we could easily make this active for 2 frames, and then it's also active here at the end for 2 frames. But in the case of this character, just 1 frame is fine. But yeah, this is a very versatile system that is going to work in all of your games. And this is why I'm showing you this, right? So we have it set up here, start, end. So here we want to get the owning instance, which is the animation instance of Paper ZD. And we can drag off here and get Paper Character and make sure it's the top one, the function. And here we want to cast to BP Action Character, because we want to be able to use this on our enemy and also on our player. And then we can simply call the set hitbox collision, which we create because we want to be able to use this on our enemy and also on our player. And then we can simply call the set hitbox collision, which we created before in the BP action char. And here we want to set it to active, because on begin it should be active. And then we can just copy paste this, go down here and connect this, and here it should be inactive. So make sure that you remove the tick mark here. And this is pretty much it. There are 2 more functions like the display name. So we could, if we wanted to, create a display name here. And this changes the way, if we wanted to, create a display name here. And this changes the way it is being shown here. So instead of ANS attack, I could delete this, get display name, and just write here set hitbox, for example, and compile and save. And now, yeah, the name here changed to set hitbox. So this is, yeah, just a visual thing, but yeah, just so you know about this function as well. And the last one is on notify tick. And tick is something I don't think you're gonna use a lot here, but yeah, it's gonna trigger on every tick while we are in this area. So I'm not quite sure what kind of use case you would use this, because I never really needed it. But yeah, just so you know, this is there in case you want to measure something or record something while you're attacking. But we're not gonna use it, so just delete it again. We just have this begin and the end. And you notice that in this project we're using a lot of
Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby.
Casting, so cast to BP action char and these kind of things, and casting can be a little bit rough on performance if you do it a lot. For this kind of small game, it's not an issue, you don't really have to worry about it, but if you make a big game, you don't want to be casting this much. Instead, you want to be using interfaces. But interfaces can be quite complicated, and it's going to take a long time to explain this. And the truth is that that's not really the point of what I'm trying to teach you. I want to teach you how to make 2D and 2D3 hybrid games here, and going into interfaces would be a big side tangent. But yeah, I just want you to know that in the end, you probably want to change this to use interfaces instead of casting once you make bigger games. But for these kind of small games, your first couple of years of making games in the Unreal Engine, you don't really have to worry about it. Just like one thing to keep in mind. Now we can just compile and save and go back here. And again, we don't get the name here, but once I press J to attack, on the right frame you see BP Shark. On the right frame you see BP Shark, like this. So this is basically our setup for press J to attack. On the right frame you see BP Shark. A little bit rough on performance if you do it a lot. For this kind of small game, it's not an issue, you don't really have to worry about it, but if you make a big game, you don't want to be casting this much. Instead, you want to be using interfaces. But interfaces can be quite complicated, and it's going to take a long time to explain this. And the truth is that that's not really the point of what I'm trying to teach you. I want to teach you how to make 2D and 2D3 hybrid games here, and going into interfaces would be a big side tangent. But yeah, I just want you to know that in the end, you probably want to change this to use interfaces instead of casting once you make bigger games. But for these kind of small games, your first couple of years of making games in the Unreal Engine, you don't really have to worry about it. Just like one thing to keep in mind. Now we can just compile and save and go back here. And again, we don't get the name here, but once I press J to attack, on the right frame you see BP Shark. On the right frame you see BP Shark, like this.
Awesome.
So this is basically our setup for the hitbox. But now it doesn't really do anything, right? It activates when it should, and this is all working out great, but we're still not applying damage to the other character, we're still not stunning it and all these kind of things, so that is something we're gonna take care of. So before we worry about the damage, I first want to implement the stun state. And on the captain we have this hit animation, which is something I want to use for that. So the first thing I want to do is go to the AS Captain character Captain, AS Captain, the animation source, and add this in here for the stun. So add a new animation sequence and call it a stun. And it's called hit, so we can look for hit, and I think it's called Captain Dead Hit. And here, yeah, if we play this, it's like this. And this is fine, we don't have to add anything.
Falling. So what does that look like? Oh. Um, so 3 frames would be good enough.
In here. So now in the animation blueprint of the captain, so characters captain, animation blueprint ABP captain, we need to add the stun state here. And well, the first thing we can do is just add an animation state and call it stun, stunt, and open it up. Stunt and open it up, and here we want to play stun. But the thing is that as you can see here, if it loops, he just keeps on flashing, which is something we don't want. So again, here we don't want to loop the animation, just have it play once, and after it's done playing, it should just stay on the last frame like this. So how do we connect to this now? And yeah, we could create a lot of different states here and back, but the thing is we can go into stunt from pretty much any state, and from stunt we can also go back into pretty much any state. So this would be pretty dirty to have it in here and connect all of these lines. So I want to go and use a jump like we did for the dying animation in our last game. So we can have a jump, and I'll call the jump stunt. You can rename if you press F2 and connect this here to stunt. And there's no condition here, it's just we just call it and go into stunt for now. Later on we still need to have a condition to go back from stunt to idle, but for now this is just fine. So inside of the BP action char I want to create a new function. And I'm gonna call it receive attack. So this is being called on ourselves if we are being hit. And what we can do here is we can right click and get anim instance and make sure it's the one from paper ZD, get anim instance, and then we can just call jump to node and connect this here. And the jump name should be the same as we have here, and we can just call jump to node and connect this here. And the jump name should be the same as we have here, the jump stunt, so we can just copy this to make sure we don't have any typos.
Ugh.
And put it here for the jump name. Again, we don't really need to put the state machine name. We could put this to locomotion, but since we only have one, we don't need to worry about it. And for now, yeah, this is fine for now. So we can compile and save. And now we need to call this at the point where we attack. So again, in the BP action chart, because this is shared, on component begin overlap here for the hitbox. We cast to the BP shark, and now here we want to call the receive attack. However, there is an issue here. So I can go here and attack the character. However, we get an error. And this happens because on the BP Shark, which still looks like the captain, we don't have an animation instance class for Paper ZD, so we cannot call the jump. So we need to switch this up a little bit, because I don't want to go into setting up the enemy just yet, because that is a big side tangent. And in the end, we also have to change this from BP Shark to Action Char, so the enemy can also use this. So sorry about this, but let's go on a quick side tangent. So I can then cast this to BP Action Char, like this, and go here like receive attack. But if we print string, you can see that there is an issue with this approach, because I can start attacking myself again and you see the hello, and then I go into this weird stun state. So we need to implement a thing to let us know if we're an enemy or a player. And we're just gonna quickly whip that up. On the BP Action Char, we can simply create a variable and call it faction, and make it an integer, and compile and save. So here we have the faction 0 as the default, which should be the player. And we go to the BP Shark, and here if we select the BP Shark here we can just search for faction and just put this to 1. So 0 is the player faction and 1 is the enemy faction. And you could also use an enumerator here to make it more clear. But yeah, you already know how to use enums, and I think this is a simple way that we can do this without spending too much time on it. And then back in the BP Action Char, we don't only just check for cast to Action Char, but we also check for faction, get faction. And we make sure that the faction here that we have here is not the same. So we make sure that not equals. So we can only execute the attack if the faction of the hit
That sounded like a good sneeze. Yo, what's up? Good afternoon, bro. It was a good sneeze. I got a notebook today.
Action char is not the same as this action char. And we just make a boolean here, a branch.
Good afternoon to you too. As in pen and paper notebook? Yeah, for just to start like jotting down like my like ideas and stuff, just so I have it like somewhere. And in terms of just like note taking stuff, I guess my biggest struggle is that I'm like really bad at notes, so I want to like teach myself how to get better at like note taking for myself. That's kind of gonna be the journey. right now I just have like the goals, what I want it to look like. Cyberpunk theme, Elden Ring stats, and like being able to like equip stuff, and with an Octopath Traveler look. And then how do we bridge the gap between an RPG that looks like Octopath, but still have elements of a Cyberpunk RPG? They seem fun. Safe. Hello. Good afternoon.
Sorry. You can just hold B and click, or just
get out. Oh my god. That is so cool.
right click branch and make the branch here. And connect this only in the true case do you receive the attack. And move this up and create some reroute nodes here. And yeah, this is just a very quick way that we can use the shared parent, but still make sure that the enemies can't hit each other, and that we can.
There's a couple in Norway literally named Hell. Yeah, I mean, those people named McLovin, bro. Multi-platform crossplay MMO RPG with 1,000 players on one map, please, and crypto. City? There's a city in Norway named Hell. I think it's not pronounced Hell though. I think it's like Heel. Yeah. 1,000 bro, it's interesting that you bring up like MMORPG, because I was watching someone do a skiing game and he wanted it to be online, and the amount of shit that you have to think about when you want your game to be online, that's fucking crazy. It's actually pronounced that way. Yeah. And bro, I'm cultured, man. I bet they have functioning keyboards in Norway. Oh, bro, your insertion into him fixing his keyboard is fucking priceless.
Also not hit ourselves. And we can compile and save. And now if I do this, I don't hit myself. I don't go into the weird stun state, so this is fixed. But on the enemy, there's still things we want to do. Because yeah, we still cannot use the BP shark because it's not set up correctly. So we can just delete this guy. And in the BP action char, we can go to faction. And
oh, did I get rid of the...
ourselves. Enemies can that reroute nodes attack, make whole char, act aim, and also beating boom. Yeah, action engine. We need my string. You can and you see there's an issue with this.
I'm just doing it at the end, not on collision. There we go. Cool. Man, I can say it. The H word. new favorite word, bro.
Because I can start attacking myself again, and you see the hello, and then I go into this weird stun state. So we need to implement, and you just so we can other. And now if I do this, I don't hit myself. I don't go into the weird stun state, so this is fixed. But on the enemy, there's still things we want to do, because yeah, we still cannot use the BP shark because it's not set up correctly. So we can just delete this guy, and in the BP action char, we can go to faction, and here for the faction, we can make this instance editable, and
How you guys doing today?
compile and
Thank
save.
you guys for coming in.
And we can not drag a BP shark out, but a BP captain. Get the BP captain, drag it out, and make sure it's on the same Y value as our player start, so minus 460, and select it, go for minus. For the faction, we can make this instance editable, and compile and save, and we can not drag a BP shark out, but a BP captain. Get the BP captain, drag it out, and make sure it's on the same Y value as our player start, so minus 460, and select it, go for minus 460.
Let's play Hangman. I don't do words, bro. I'm already bad enough at English.
60, and hit enter, and also move it up a little bit so it's not in the ground, and to the right. And now when I play, here for the other BP captain, since it's instance editable, I can just look for faction, and just for now set it to 1. And this is just a temporary thing for this guy.
Oh. Cool.
I only, so we can test our attack without having the enemy set up. And now I can attack, and you can see that it plays the stun animation and goes into this. And yeah, sorry about this big side tangent. I had some trouble with the planning of this lesson, and things got a bit out of hand with the testing because I didn't want to go into making the enemy too early. But yeah, so this faction system is something you would have needed to build anyway to make sure that the enemies can't hit each other, and that we also cannot hit ourselves while using the same shared parent. And yeah, so on the BP Shark, we use the faction of 1. On the captain, we use the faction
T
of 0, but just temporarily we made this instance editable and made this captain faction 1, just so we can hit it, we can finish our whole logic of stunning and all these kind of things before we have to go into the big side tangent and making the enemy. One problem we have now though is that the enemy just gets stuck in the stun animation and doesn't go back after the stun is over, because we're still only doing the animation but we're not handling the actual stun state. So we can go into receive attack and we create a new variable and we just call it is stunned and make it a boolean like this and compile and save, and it should be false. False by default.
Hey.
But here in the receive attack we drag it out and set is stunned and set it to true. And yeah, this way we can set the stun state. However, we still actually I think this should be before the jump to node, because otherwise you might have issues with it going into a different state right away. So yeah, it should be on the left side here. The is stunned. Yeah, but we also need to reset this stun state. So we can create a new function and just call it clear stun. And here we set is stunned and set it to false. Right? And the reason for this is that on receive attack is a function. So here we cannot simply call a delay because it's not possible inside of a function. So we can just use timer by event instead, set timer by event, and here drag off and create event. And here we can now select our clear stun function and set a delay, like how long.
The second letter is A, and you have 8 more. F.
The stun should be, and we can just drag off here and promote to variable, not local variable, and just set it to stun length. And of course you could have different attacks with different stun lengths, but that is very advanced again. But for now, just a certain stun length of, let's say, 0.5. So compile and save, default value to 0.5 is fine, and it should not be looping. So what this does is we get stunned on the receive attack, we start to play the stunned animation, and then after 0.5 seconds we reset the is stunned state. So now we can use that information in our ABP captain for now, so that we know that once we're not stunned anymore, we can go back from is stunned into idle. So here, for the condition, we can get the captain and get
F is wrong. E. I really fucking love this playlist that I found for this channel.
idle. So here, for the condition, we can get the captain and get is stunned and flip it around, so not boolean. So if we are not stunned is when we can go back to stun, from stunned into idle. And let's see how this works. Compile and save and go here. And now I attack the enemy and it's stunned for 0.5 seconds and goes back to idle.
I swear, every small advancement I make into making this gives me so much more confidence. Like, when I used to program in college, I was by far the dumbest fucking person in the fucking classroom. And it is like bewildering to me that I can get somebody on a fucking screen right now, jumping around, moving in 3D space, looking the way I want them to look, being able to smack something and have it have like, you know, this is, I should have done this a long time ago. I can't imagine where this is gonna end up. The fifth letter is E. R.
And yeah, this is what we wanted. But so far the stun doesn't have any functionality, because even if we're stunned we can still attack, if we're stunned we can still walk, all these kind of things. However, this is something we're going to take care of later, because there is no real way for us to test this right now, because we don't have enemies that attack us, and we also don't have enemies that walk around, so we can't really test if they are still walking around while stunned. So we'll take care of that in a later lesson.
Health system, let's go.
In the last lesson, we implemented the stun state for the character. However, this time we want to implement the applying damage and the entire health system. And again, this is a shared system between the player and the enemy. So we're gonna go to blueprints, characters.
Oh. Are you guys getting dropped frames? Does the stream look good? Or no? Hater. Still dropping frames, I think. Not the same amount of letters. Of course it's not. B. I still think something else is wrong here. How are we looking? Does it look good? Bro, you try bringing this shit in here one more time, I'm just gonna ban you. Like, I give you a lot of slack, but like, I don't. Frags, how does it look now? Does it look okay? It seems fine so far. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's telling me, it's giving me some good. Okay, cool, 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 cool.
And implement this on the BP action chart. And the first thing we need is a variable. So we can have a variable here and make a variable called max health, and it should be a float. And make another one called health, or let's just say current health to make it more precise, and compile and save. So for the max health, we can just set a default value of 100, and the current health, there is not really a point to setting the default value here, because if we change the max health, then we would also need to change the current health every time, and this is just something you'll forget. So a better way of doing that is to go to event graph and begin play. After we set the hitbox collision, we can set max health. We can get max health and set current health and connect this here. And yeah, so this just means we only have to change the default value for the max health, and on begin play it's just gonna apply that to current health. So we only have to manage one variable here.
Oh, cool. That makes sense.
So there are multiple ways of applying damage. For example, there is a built-in function.
Set hitbox collision, collision happens, you have max health, and then
use.
That's set.
It also has online functionality built in, replication, which is nice. And then you have the event any damage, which receives this. But I think in our case, it is actually cleaner to just use the receive attack function that we already created. And yeah, this is nice if you make an online game. This also has many nice use cases. However, since we already set the receive attack up, and here we already handle the stun and handle all of these things, it would just make more sense to just handle the damage inside of here as well. So we want to handle the damage on the left side at first, because there's no need to stun an enemy if they're already at 0 health. So we're just gonna start on the left side with the health. And one thing we want to do now is the set current health. And for the receive attack, we want to add an input. And the input should be damage and a float. Like this. And compile and save. And now we get the current health, get current health. So we have the current health minus subtract the damage like this, and these cross over because yeah, current health needs to be the top and the damage, incoming damage, needs to be the bottom, and we can then connect this to current health. So this just means, yeah, we take our current health and subtract the damage that comes in and just set our new current health to that. Just for the default value on the damage here, we can click on the inputs and expand this and just set maybe 25 damage as the default value. And we can then set this depending on the case. Compile and save.
Receiving different attacks will lead at different
damage. We then want to check if the...
Dude, that's so much. So like, right? So like regular attack, and then you have your like other attack. So like, I guess this would be like branch of like this attack. Well, no, because damage is here. This is gonna be interesting as the game gets more convoluted and complicated. It's gonna be something else. I don't care, bro. Don't use it. You think it's funny, you think it's edgy, it's not.
Current health is less or equal to 0 and create a branch here. So just drag off here a branch and connect here. Right, so if this is true, then we know that the character died. And if this is not true, we know the character is still alive. So in the false case, if this is not true, well, we want to stun the character and play the stunned animation and do these things. So this is the false case. And in the true case, we want to play a death animation, which we still haven't set up. And that is the thing we're going to do now. So now we need to go to blueprints, characters, captain, and the AS captain animation source. And we need...
I read it. I don't care. I'm telling you. I see what it says. I'm not reading it out loud. I don't want
to register the defeated.
I fucking see it.
Animation here. So just make a new one and rename it. This one. Rename it to defeated.
Your feelings surrounding this do not matter to what I am telling you in this world, right? You are in my chat. I create this environment, okay? You do not. I don't care what your feelings are about it because this is my world, okay? I don't like it. Don't use it here. Use it elsewhere. Do you understand? Yes or no? Thank you.
And on the right side, here, I pick the ground. Captain dead ground. And yeah, you can see here, just like bounces a little bit, falls over.
Look what this fucking animation looks like.
Dead ground. And yeah, you can see here, just like bounces a little bit, falls over. And this is going to be the defeated animation that we're going to use for the captain. So now we also need to open up the animation blueprint.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink.
For the captain and create a new state here. And yeah, we can just right click first. An animation state and rename it to defeated. And this is very similar to what we did in the tower climb game. And then open this up and play defeated. And again, this animation, since it bounces like this, it's weird if it loops. So we remove the check mark here from loop animation, and it's just gonna bounce a single time and then just stay still on the last frame, which is what we want. So then in the locomotion, we need to create a jump. Again, because for a defeated animation like this, I think a jump makes more sense than using an override, an animation montage. But yeah, this is kind of up to personal preference. I think this is better though. So just right click and make a jump. And I'm gonna call it jump defeated. And connect this here. So yeah, so just like, and for the defeated, there's no way for us from going defeated back into idle or back into anything else.
You're just defeated.
There doesn't need to be any connection after this. Once we're defeated, that's just it. It's over. So we can take this and copy the jump defeated to make sure we have the correct name. Then go to the action chart, and here we can again get the anim instance. So get anim instance and get the one from paper ZD. And here we can just call jump to node and go here true and move this down a little bit. And then for the jump name, have the jump defeated. This one, jump defeated, we just go into the defeated state here. And yeah, for now, that is it. So we can just compile and save.
Shawarma with 3 ingredients.
And yeah, just go here and start. And if I attack, stunned, 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 and the last time, defeated.
No way. We're cooking. We're cooking. Some macaron. Macaron is good.
And yeah, this is a very simple health and apply damage system that we have. And there's still a few things that we want to change because now the character blocks us, which is a problem. One more problem here, which some of you which is a problem. One more problem here, which some of you might think is a feature. If we keep attacking while he's on the ground, it triggers all of the death behavior again. This whole part with doing the damage and everything. In this case, it does look kind of cool because, yeah, we get this interaction here where he jiggles again. But in most cases, you actually don't want to have this. Because it's also going to affect other things, such as the movement, everything else. So we need to handle the is defeated state as well. So we can...
Lethal Company or Safe Company? What is Safe? Is that a new game? I guess I don't. What? What is that?
Can create another.
Lethal Company. I've only played Lethal Company a handful of times, but I wish I had played it more.
A variable called is defeated and make this a boolean. And again, we're still on the BP action char and compile and save, and by default we're not defeated. But then here, once we go into this animation, we can just set is defeated and set this to true. And one more thing we can do with this is then here on the left side where we apply the damage and do all of these things, we can add this condition. So we can get is defeated, not boolean, like this, and make a branch. And just like this, make the branch only in the true case. So if we're not defeated, we go. Go further, and yeah, this is kind of dirty, so you can see we have these lines and everything. And if we compile and save and we're inside of a function, we can actually have a shortcut to this damage, so we don't need this long line. You can actually just drag off here and write damage. And you have here the variables get damage, which is just a shortcut to this one. But yeah, this makes it look a lot cleaner. And yeah, we can make it even better, just like this. And move this up. And yeah, so this looks very nice. Oh, I forgot to connect this here, sorry. So yeah, now this is connected correctly. And if we try again now, I can attack once, twice. So this looks very nice. Oh, I forgot to connect this here, sorry. So yeah, now this is connected correctly. And if we try again now, I can attack once, twice, 3, 4 times, defeat it. And if I attack now, nothing happens. So this is good. We're not calling this function over and over again if the character is already defeated. And one more thing we want to do here is, yeah, if we are defeated, we can get the capsule component and set collision enabled to no collision. Like this. Go. Like this, we can get the capsule component.
Oh.
And set collision enabled to no collision. Like this, go like this, and yeah, like this, and then defeat it again. And now I can just walk through here, which is what I actually want. Because otherwise, yeah, we defeat one enemy and we're just blocked and cannot proceed in the level, which is not very nice. And yeah, this is how we can do this.
Cool.
This episode is gonna be all about making the attack more impactful. Because you can see that, yeah, it works, but it doesn't really feel all that nice. And just to show an example from my beat'em up that I'm working on, the hits here feel a lot more impactful and crunchy. And we're not gonna go quite all this way, but we're gonna go as far as we can. The first thing that's gonna make a hit feel better is a sound effect. So again, in the resource link you can find this and download the action platformer sounds. And this just has 2 sounds that are Creative Commons license. So we're gonna...
WinRAR.
And download these. Once they're downloaded, again, just unpack them as always, extract, and yeah, so we have the S hit and the S throw. Inside of Unreal Engine, open the content drawer. Under the content folder, right click and create a new folder called sounds, and open it up, and then just drag these 2 sound files in here like this. And yeah, you can listen to them. Yeah, this is the hit. And this is the throw.
Okay.
So yeah, we can just select both of them.
Oh, what's it called? I'll show you guys. Look what I got. I got, I guess how can I could better show you. Oh, well, I guess I can just show you an Aseprite. Takes like 2 seconds to, so I found this artist and I really liked him, and I figured since I'm not going to be able to do the art I want in a while, this kind of fits like a dude that I was kind of like working with, so I feel like I'm going to like build off of him, because like, I mean, I can like fill him in, but for the most part, like, you know, I can just show you guys what, you know, it's going to look like. The sword attacks and shit look dope. And so the spear attack I'm gonna change to be the throw. So I'm gonna take like the particle effects. I'm just gonna slightly modify this. So like in the first couple of frames, right, he's like getting ready. So getting ready, and then he attacks. So on this one, I plan to make him do the throw, And so I'm gonna eliminate a lot of this white, and I'm gonna make it more of like a back thing for like the throw, so that when it does throw, it like lands in the wall and it acts like the sword thing that we're gonna do in this game. But I have this written down, so it'll hopefully get done eventually. But yeah, I think there was this one that was pretty cool. He's got a little shotgun. I want to show you some of the fucking... Not quite the one I was looking for. Anyway, there's a bunch of guys. They're basically in that wheelhouse of looks. But I really want to show you I can show you from here. I like the style. Me too. Me too. Thank you. So I got this guy too. But I think I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna keep the panda or the gun this color. Because I don't really think I like the blues so much that he has. I think I like more of like the vibrance of red. Put him in a sandwich. So like I'm excited to see like what I can do with this. I did like get like some tile sets from it too, but so I guess something that I'm like struggling to come up with like for an idea. So like part of me kind of wants to build like a platformer, you know, kind of like the ones that we were working on before, that has just like the relative like geometry of like what we were working on with other stuff, where oh yeah, and it's like doesn't erase well. Yeah, like it in Aseprite. Are you guys familiar with Aseprite like at all? I don't know what dark merchants are, so let's mushroom merchant. That sounds cool. Sick. I know what it is and I know what it does. Cool. So, like, let me pull up. So for the spear attack, right? So something that you can do literally, so I could take the spear, and so frame 1, frame 2, but for frame 2 we move the spear up. For the next frame, he's getting more ready, so we move it back, move this a little bit more forward now. And so it's like super, like the way that like this works for you to just kind of like swap things like little by little, you know, and then like, you know, you have this, but it's like, okay, so at like this point, like, you know, where's the spear, you know? And so I got to like work within the confines of that and figure out like where that stuff is going to go. And like, you know, where the fuck are these like VFX? Is this it? Like, I don't even know, but another for another time will I like work on this, but like super exciting to just, you know, fucking like, what if this was red, you know, where's my fill? Weapon, cloak. Would it be a part of layer 1? No. I don't even know. I don't even know where I'd fix that. What the fuck? What layer? How do you even know? Maybe I just fill it in. Did you buy the sprite set? I went to I found him through Each. What it's called? And then I just I subscribed to his Patreon for $10, and then you're able to download a good portion of it. It's nice that they have everything in layers, and it's like, yeah, and he like encourages it too. At least that's what I saw on his Each. But yeah, super exciting about this aspect, and like, you know, being able to draw whatever I want in it. Because like he like, you know, comparable to, you know, my dude, that like, you know, having something like this and having this as my inspiration and slightly shifting this color palette into the direction of something like this, I could see being so much more easier than build than like, I'm not an artist, bro, but like I can like fuck around with shit. Like I'm good at like manipulation, but I feel like this is years, which is fine. Oh yeah, so I'm thinking about building this type of platformer and just building this with like a bunch of simple levels, and then just kind of like building off that for a little bit once I have those fundamentals. Because looking at this and then going through like the rest of this to finish this 2D 3D world, I do think this is good, but I am slowly seeing how cumbersome it can be doing it at the speed that I'm doing. So I think like getting a good handle on sections 1 through 7 first is going to be a lot more impactful for me in terms of what I need to do for 2D stuff. And this introduction of Paper ZD is definitely helpful. Feature creep is real. Yeah. So, in time, we will see. We will see. But I am excited about it. I misclick Steam. I don't even know if I want to sell it. I like, you know, that's like part of it, you know, like maybe for like $1, you know, was the most I was going to think about doing it, but I was just going to make it like a pretty generic platformer. But I do agree with you. I just feel like just a flat 2D approach for just understanding. I guess if you guys want to watch this, I think this would be cool because I think this guy needs more eyes on him, and even if it's, you know, just us in here, I don't mind showing you if you guys want to see. But I came across this channel. One guy, you know, this came out 7 days ago. This came out, you know, a while ago, but 7 years of game development for this. So do you want to watch it? That's a good point. I'll keep that in mind.
They took everything from me, so I will kill them all. And they will not quietly soul my son. Don't call me son.
Monkey Man, rated R.
Cats really know how to do less. Be more like your cat. Try out.
Like, but truly, like an art style of his fucking own, like off rip, just beautiful to me.
Hi everyone. The response to my first devlog has been both amazing and overwhelming all at the same time. It really means a lot to me that Eevee is generating so much interest, and today I'd like to dive a bit deeper into some elements about both character and world design, plus address a few trending questions from the comments in my last devlog, such as why I chose Unity over Unreal. Before I get into all that, I wanted to announce that my Steam page is now live and linked in the description below. So if you like what you see, please consider wishlisting the game. Now let's start with character design. Though this is never outright explained anywhere, the protagonist that the player controls here is the only named character in the entire game. That name, of course, being Eevee. She's a representation of my daughter, and the bat creature represents her younger brother. Similar to real life, these video game manifestations are essentially inseparable and have developed a powerful, if unbreakable, bond. I mentioned in the first devlog that a major source of inspiration
I kind of want to start with the first one. I don't think I ended up watching that one.
indie game. I'd like to share with you a game that I've been working on for quite a few years now. This is Eevee. It's an HD 2D action adventure game heavily influenced by games like Hyper Light Drifter and Legend of Zelda.
That animation is sick. That animation is so sick.
I recently finished a vertical slice with a runtime of approximately 45 minutes, give or take, based on your skill and aptitude for completionism. Before getting into that though, I'd like to share with you the journey that I've been on while developing this game. Eevee started off as a more traditional 2D top-down game with a prototype that I developed with relative ease in Construct 2. I achieved a dark and gritty visual style that I was aiming for, and the gameplay was fast and fluid.
Because, like, so something that we talked about and me looking at this, like, this kind of like fits the mold of, like, you know, hit like kind of checks my boxes, you know. Can this be a cyberpunk theme? Without question, 100%. Can, like, is there, like, could there be stats and stuff like this? I did see somewhere in here as we go along. We'll talk more about this at the end. Let's finish watching.
Initially, I had no doubts in my mind that I was going to finish this game in this game engine and hopefully see some success in the crowded indie marketplace. I had some concerns over the graphical presentation that I couldn't quite solve for, in spite of my best efforts with 2D lighting and VFX. Still, I thought the game looked okay and played great, so I figured that would be enough. Then, I saw Octopath Traveler for the Switch, and fell in love with the aesthetic.
Oh.
I thought an action-adventure game
So good.
would be incredible with a similar HD 2D style.
Beautiful.
Unfortunately, I already had the blueprint for just such a game. At first, I tried porting assets and recreating the gameplay in Unreal Engine 4, but the progress was slow. And since I'm more of a scripter than a coder, I quickly ran into roadblocks that slowed development down to a crawl. At this point, I decided to jump back into Construct 2 to finish up my project, considering my exploration into HD 2D gameplay a failure. However, I couldn't quite justify that without trying at least one other game engine, so I decided to see how quickly I could put a prototype together in Unity. Before I knew it, I not only replicated the core gameplay and features, but surged far past my original top-down build. Fast forward a few years, and here we are. Now you may be asking, what else is unique about this game besides the aesthetic? Well, for one, there's no spoken dialogue, no chat bubbles, no still images or text of any kind, save for the main menu at the moment. I'm trying to tell the story explicitly through the pixel art and on-screen animations. While I wouldn't call myself a professional animator by any stretch, my skills have vastly improved since my first indie game.
So this here is what gave me the general idea of just making a 2D.
Another unique feature is your partner who will accompany you throughout the entire journey. They're a critical part of the story, and while there won't be any escort missions or anything like that, this little pile of pixels is what's actually driving the plot. They aren't helpless by any means and will contribute not just to the overall story, but the gameplay as well. Other features that I think are worth mentioning include a dynamic music system that's a little buggy right now, but mostly functional, a wide range of enemy types and AI, plus a combat system that allows you to deflect projectiles, time blocks, or certain attacks to trigger a slow-mo effect, plus a shop for buying or upgrading different abilities. Got hazards, boss fights, combat arenas, and plenty of secrets to uncover. There's a lot in here now, way more to cover, and even more that I plan on implementing into the game in the near future. Lastly, one major motivational factor for me in all this is that the protagonist and their little flying buddy are actually representations of my daughter and son respectively. And this game is an expression of the darkest part of my own life, from when my son was very, very sick, and how our lives were completely flipped upside down for a few years. For what it's worth, my son is fine now and fully recovered, but the trauma is still there and I'm still processing, so this is my way of doing that. I'd be happy to share more with you about that journey and how it's impacted Eevee's development at some point. But for now, I just wanted to show this project to the world and see what the reception is as I continue developing it.
So going back to like what I have down, like, can this fit a cyberpunk theme? Absolutely. Problem is, this is in Unity, but I do think that we could bridge this gap, right? Because to me, if Unity can kind of handle this lighting, we could probably figure out a better way to do it within Unreal, especially if we're like observing. We're just in this.
With game. This means in our case.
So if we can achieve this kind of lighting and this kind of like graphical element of this, then like, you know, we can achieve that cyberpunk-esque type thing. At some point, creating an ability system, creating the sword throw. So from here, you know, we can have that Elden Ring type stats, you know, and break out from there. While achieving that Octopath Traveler pixel art look. But the thing that I'm thinking about more is I watch a lot of I'm sure literally any one of these. This guy, legendary when it comes to pixel art creation. He talks a lot about just like scale, concept, color palette, everything that has to do with art. So how do you make a game look as in it's your own? So I feel like we're gonna have to play a lot with the lighting as we go on, and that is gonna be something heavily I'm gonna have to look into when it comes to the post-processing of all this, right? But there's one thing I immediately don't like, and I wouldn't play it just for that reason. I hate when a character feels like they are not tracking the ground properly, and it just might be a quirk that I have, but it really hurts my eyes. If you're lazy to get the feet right, then just make it fly, or don't give me bad feet. Yeah, like I 1000% agree with you. If the character were just standing there and it looks fine, and then the flying bats are great, but the main character is just blah. Are you talking about like, let's try and find some collisions. Like,
unique feature is your partner who will accompany you throughout
of what he's creating. That's the second one. Not a fan. Not a fan of that. But you're talking about this protagonist's feet, right? And how it just looks awkward.
the story, and while there won't be any escort missions or anything like that, this
Or are you talking about the flying guy?
is what's actually driving the plot. They aren't helpless by any means and will contribute not just to the overall story, but the game.
Oh, so I feel like my dude like kind of fits the pace well with the ground, right? But like up it, you're saying if I up the momentum, doesn't really look like he's kind of ice skating, right? This is like the effect that you're talking about. So if he slowed it down, it'd be better. So you feel like that aspect of his yeah, that bothers me too. That bothers me too. Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I definitely feel like he needs to up the pace of the sprite itself or adjust the speed. Yes. I'm just trying to, I guess, illustrate it in the way that, like, you know, we could see it in both ways. Thank you, by the way. But yeah, just another area of something where I'm like, okay, like this game could definitely easily be inspiration as well. Oh, remember to like the channel. Totally have been forgetting to tell everybody that as we've been going along in this. But when you look at his bat flying around there, those are great because they don't need to have feet tracking. Yeah. Give him just like and especially because like he kind of like dashes around anyway, it almost would make more sense for him to be floating. I see where you're coming from with that. I dropped my pencil. I need a standing desk. Ah, fuck. Yeah. They don't need feet tracking, that's for sure.
Case that we use a 2D pic. In the last lesson, we play a death animation, which we still haven't set up. Actors, captain, and the I pick the top, which we create use preference, just like that's just it. And he's called feed it with here, apply damage. Some of you might have this have do not and this for damage. So I characters are you just can do. Then right click and create multiple queues. And then we have the hit queue and the throw queue. So inside of the BP action char, where we take damage here, where we do the is defeated no. So after the is defeated no, we can just play the sound, because yeah, we want to play the sound either way. If we're just hurt or also if we are defeated, we want to play the sound either way. So here we can just play sound, and this time not 2D, but let's just say play sound at location, and here we can get
You watch any anime, Briggs?
We want to play the sound either way. So here we can just play sound. And this time not 2D, but let's just say play sound at location. And here we can get actor location to just play it in the position of this BP action chart. And here we can just look for our hit cue and have our S hit cue and compile and save. And this alone already makes it feel a lot better.
Get fucked. No, not into anime? Have you tried? Have you tried watching some?
Again, in the BP action chart, we want to go to the event graph and create a new custom event. So right click, custom event, and we're going to call this hit stop sequence. So hit stop basically just lets the character freeze for a couple of milliseconds when the attack connects, and we're going to apply this both to the attacker and to the receiver. And this is actually very simple in the way we implement it. So we can just set custom time dilation, this one on the actor, which basically just freezes the actor in time. And we can then use a retriggerable delay like this and connect it to the hit stop sequence, so we can pass in the length of the hit stop every time like this, connect it here, and then after we can just copy paste this, put it at the end and put it back to 1. So basically we're gonna freeze the character freeze the animations, everything, wait for a certain amount of time, and then just set everything back. And we can compile and save.
I'm gonna suggest me. I forced One Punch Man. I forced myself to get through episode 2 in K-pop. One Punch Man. I'm a big fan of One Punch Man. I don't think that's a great intro anime though. Just because there's a lot of fan service in it. I don't really think a lot of people. Anime humor, I don't think is for everybody. But I think there are a number of other more relatable, I'll say, animes that I feel like are more friendly to a new audience.
And here we can open this up and put the default value to let's say 0.3 seconds. We're gonna freeze for 0.3 seconds. And now the way we apply this is that we go to our event graph on the action chart, and we look here for our thing where we apply the damage. So here we have receive attack, and what we can do here is then after receive attack, we're just gonna call the hit stop sequence on this action chart, the one that is being attacked, like this. And yeah, just let the time 0.3 duration is fine. And we then again call the hit stop sequence, but we're not gonna pass anything for target and just use it on self. So we're gonna apply this to the enemy through this, and also apply to ourselves right here. So you can just compile and save.
I don't think those times are right.
And you can see that we get this nice little freeze effect. And if I try to move and walk, I actually can't. So while I'm doing this hit stop, like we cannot move, we can't do anything. And I think this looks nice and gives it a little bit more crunch. But I think 0.3 is a bit long.
I do think it's long too.
You might actually want to go here and set the default to 0.2 and compile and save. And now we also need to check here. Yeah, it also changed.
Much better.
0.2 because it's the default value. And let's try again.
Chain attacks would be cool.
Feels a bit nicer and more reasonable. And yeah, this is hit stop.
I feel like that's something that I'm actually gonna
Hit stop is a great technique, especially for fighting games, any type of games that has combat. It just gives it a little bit more impact because you freeze the screen and yeah, you feel the impact a bit more. The next thing we want to do is implement sprite shake. So if we hit...
I don't know if that qualifies, but I watched some Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon as a kid. That was mainly because of Knight Rider and Stargate wasn't on. No, what did I just saw this recently that I thought was like pretty funny and accurate to me, at least. You can go to my Twitter. Like, I remember staying up watching Tsunami and then it going into like Adult Swim, and then like watching like Trigun was always on super late. I always caught parts of like Ghost in the Shell. Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha was on like every night. One I don't see here is Gundam. Gundam was on like all the time. Big O, FLCL, Bleach, fucking Samurai Champloo. Yeah, this was like literal childhood for me. Of course, Dragon Ball Z, you know. Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I had the Digimon movie. Digimon movie was sick.
The enemy, it's gonna shake left and right slightly, and yeah, this is also a very popular technique and is also used by
I think mainly I didn't watch those because I didn't like the art style. I liked Biker Mice from Mars and Iron Man more. Interesting. Biker Mice from Mars. I see. I know exactly what you're saying, bro. Looking at this animation, yeah. Yeah. So did you like the regular X-Men show too, then? I feel like it's like that same kind of animation style.
Sakurai-san, the creator of Smash Bros, and he is a big advocate of this.
Never seen X-Men. I think they just re-put it out on Hulu.
So let's make a very simple implementation. You could kind of go overboard and change the amount of shake depending on how far the camera is away, and change the way it shakes while you're airborne. There's a lot of things you can do to make this more advanced and perfect, but we're just gonna make a very simple version that we can create in a couple of minutes. So back on the action chart, we can again go on the event graph and right click and create a new custom event, and I'm gonna call this Shake Sprite, like this. So what we need here is set relative location of the sprite. So yeah, we're gonna grab the reference to the sprite is here and set the relative. Location, relative location of the sprite.
I don't watch any Netflix, Hulu, or stuff like that. Stopped watching TV 15 years ago as well. So what kind of games do you like? Well, give me like your top 5 of all time.
So yeah, we're gonna grab the reference to the sprite is here and set the relative location. So we don't care about the world location, but here just we want to move the sprite left and right here in this space. Yeah, so back here, and to be able to understand which position we need, we actually...
Oh, we're building the thing that we were talking about. This is gonna shake upon hit, but upon hit we can do our little inch back. Okay, cool.
need to save the base position like this. We have 40, 0, and 6.8. This is our starting position. However, it could be that we just change this later. So what we want to do is go to begin play on the event graph. We have our begin play, and after we set the health, we can just get the sprite and get relative location like this. And we just want to save this to a variable, so we can promote a variable and just call it sprite base location. And yeah. So if we were to change the sprite location here, it would also be reflected here in this variable, so we don't have to worry about this anymore. And yeah, so now we can just get this and use it here. So we can get the base sprite location and we can split the struct bin, and here also split the struct bin. Because the thing is, we only want to move on the X, we only shake left and right, so we know that we can just keep the Y the way it was before, and we can keep the Z the way it was before, so we just pass this through. And the only thing we want to change is the X location. So we can get the current X location and add something on top of it. So just use the add and put that here. And let's create some reroute nodes here, make this look nice, like this. And this. Yes. So now we need to figure out what we can pass in here. And what I want to do is, because we want to go left once and go right once, just shake left, right, left, right. And the way we can do something like that is using a flip-flop. So we can have the flip-flop here, the flow control flip-flop, and go like this. And yeah, we want to execute this on A, but we also want to execute this on B. So we can just double click here and create another line, and they both just kind of connect together here. And the way we can get the location now is that we can call a select here, the bottom one, select, and pass the is A here. So this means the first time we're gonna get this value, the second time we're gonna get this value. So we want to make this a variable. So we can make another variable and just call it sprite shake distance and turn this into a float and compile and save. And I actually don't know what a good value is right now. Let's just try 5 and we'll see later. And yeah, so if we are in A, I just
Doom 2, Quake, Build Engine Games, Duke Nukem, Shadow Warrior, Blood, Half-Life 2, Minecraft, Valheim, Diablo Original, Path of Exile. Those are some more, but those are what I have enjoyed. I also played a lot of Original Civilization and Original Warcraft. original Warcraft, not the MMO BS. You like the RTS stuff in terms of Civilization, Warcraft. Did you ever get into StarCraft at all? I played a lot of years of WoW. I did some Quake, and then I did some Quake as like an aim trainer because of the flicking, the high pace, the double jumps, all that. I did it to get better at Overwatch. That's pretty cool. That's a range, bro. That is a range. Good list.
You want to
I played a lot of original StarCraft. Missed the sequel hype. Yeah.
shake by 5. Go to the right by 5. And if we are B, I just want to get this again, copy paste, and I want to invert it. So I can just do multiply, and here I just do -1. So it's just gonna get the opposite of it. So if this is 5, this is gonna be -5. And we're gonna
Safe, what are your top 5 favorite games? I mostly enjoyed making maps for a lot of those games. Map making was my way of having fun in most games. That's fucking cool, bro. That's fucking cool.
shake right, left, and that is pretty much it. But we still aren't calling the shake sprite anywhere. So the way that I like to do is go into receive attack, and in the case that we are defeated, we don't need to shake the sprite. This is all good. But here, where we get stunned, I want the sprite shake to be always active if we are stunned. So here where we set the stun and jump to the stun animation, all this kind of stuff, we can also just call this function. So timer by event, like this, and here we can create event, and here we're simply gonna call our shake sprite. And I think we need to compile. Ah, no, there it is. So yeah, if it doesn't show up, you might need to compile and save first, and then have the shake sprite. So here we can set the frequency at which we're gonna shake. So first, yeah, we want it to loop, so we can set looping to true. And again, we need to kind of test this out, but maybe 0.05 is a good value. Let's see. So let's first start this and try.
Are we cooking?
Right out, and let's see. So yeah, this actually looks pretty good, but it doesn't stop, which is the problem we have now. But this doesn't look bad. So let's work on making it stop now. So on the BP action chart, we can save the handle to this event and just promote it to a variable, not a local variable. Promote the variable and call it sprite shake handle.
Right.
Like this.
Shake.
And then when we go into clear the stun, so here we clear the stun, we can simply get the sprite shake handle, just drag it out, get the sprite shake handle, and we can then clear and invalidate timer by handle. So yeah, this is a reference to the event that we called, And since it's looping, it just keeps on playing. And here we can just cancel the event
It
when
just
our stun
canceled.
ends. So you can compile and save. And let's see how this looks. And yeah, this looks very nice. Yeah, I am very satisfied with this. But yeah, if you would prefer it to look differently, you can mess around with the sprite shake distance.
I like that. I like that. Top favorite: 1 Knack, 2 Minecraft, 3 Chess, 4 Rocket League, Eternal Cylinder. We cook in shawarma with 900 ingredients. 900 million? So is that what that's supposed to represent? Okay. Okay. We're gonna tangent this shit. Moles? This is supposed to represent the atoms. Talking about moles, bro? I can tell you a thing or two about moles. No! Ugh, 1 second, I spelled something, guys. What? Yeah.
Who's in there? Oh. Hi, friends. Hello to you.
And did you play Knack? It's a goated game, pretty fun platformer adventure combat story. Build the beans. You are beans. Hello to you too, mysterious voice.
I'm mysterious.
You are the mysterious voice.
And let's actually also go back to our receive attack. And here this time, set time by event, let's also just make it a variable so we can drag off, promote the variable and call it sprite shake frequency.
I like that. Sprite shake frequency.
Like this. And compile and save, and yeah, it's 0.05. But if you wanted to shake more, you can make it a smaller value. If you wanted to shake less, you can make it a bigger value, and you can just play around with these values until you find something you like. But again, I think
so. Tax evasion. Shake. Okay. So we are only shaking in the XY direction. I mean, in the X direction, left and right. How do we take this? So custom event, hammer slide. Might have to fuck around with these two, but we, upon an attack, so not collision. So this is when we go to fight. Man, it really makes you think. I feel like all of the answers that we're looking for, I feel like are here now. How do we get something to just slide back slightly upon a hammer down? Three, two, one, go tax evasion squad. Poverty. Set hitbox, max health, current health, location. So what if we ball hammer slide here? And then the target oh, okay. You can add short backwards momentum to the character on 2D frame. So you're suggesting not to make it a function, but to make it a part of the flipbook? I think you can call on what the page of the flipbook is on, and for example, give How does it know what flipbook animation it is, though? I don't know the commands for it. I'm writing this down. We will do this. We will fucking get this done. Yeah, it definitely can be done. And we will fucking figure it out. Might not be today, but it'll get fucking done. Texas steak. What about Texas steak? What's an array? Like an array of numbers? Or like an array? Yeah, it's usually a list. Yeah. And it can contain, yeah, multiple variables. It can contain a bunch of booleans or integers or floats. Yeah. And usually you use an array for like a number of things. You can use arrays to store values. You can use arrays yes, that exists. That should exist in Scratch for sure.
This looks very nice, and it
only for variables, not for bools. Okay.
feels
My bad.
kind of impactful. And of course, yeah, you could also do screen share.
You can, I don't know if in Scratch, but in other programming languages, you can store words too. I'm using an array for my
project and do more
Nice.
sprite flashing effects. And there's so many things you can do to make this even better. But yeah, we just have a limited amount of time. And I think this is good enough. This already made the attack, I think, 10 times better. There's one more little thing. And if we call this this shake sprite, we actually never set the sprite back to the original location. So here, when we clear the stun, we can get the sprite here, set relative location, like this, and just set it back to the shake sprite base location, like this. So after the shaking ends here, we just set it back, because otherwise we might end up on the left side by 5 or on the right side by 5. And if we end up on the left side by 5, this is the new value, and then maybe we move to the left again by 5, and at some point the sprite is just like somewhere else. So yeah, this way we just make sure that after the shaking, we actually go back to the original position. In this episode, we're gonna implement the base for our actual enemy.
In Scratch, it stores letters and numbers, but not bools. I'm using it for the player movement. Should you be using an array for player movement?
So far, we've just been using this captain guy as our enemy, but now we're actually gonna put in the shark guy and use the BP shark. So we can just get rid of this guy, so select the captain and hit delete on your keyboard. And now if we start, it's just our own character. So we can first go to the characters, and Blueprint's character is Shark, and open this up and open the full blueprint editor. And in the viewport, the first thing you want to do is select the sprite, and here look for idle, but use the shark idle. And the problem we have here is that, well, it's flipped around. So we can just go to the rotation on the Z and type in 180 to make sure it's looking to the right. And then we also want to set the position. So in this case, we can drag left here. And at first, yeah, just kind of eyeball it. And I think this looks good. Yes, but we might have to move it up or down for the legs. So just go into the map and drag this guy out. I'm dragging up a little bit so he can fall.
Tell me why this guy changes.
All down and start the game.
No, it's joystick movement. It's going to a sprite, which basically uses it to store some data, basically. The joystick power and direction are variables. Okay. That makes sense. Couldn't you get a boolean and add a branch with yes, no, check if hammer animation is true and add negative velocity? Yeah. I guess I'm kind of confused on where. Because this is clearing the stun. Receive attack. Earn health. This is if the thing dies. Wouldn't I have to add this? So get animation instance. The target is this. Not stunned though, but the hammer. Let's see if it's 6. Let's go for it. I'm down to try. This is incorrect. And this is in the parent. Or is this? Yeah, because it's here. So this is it. So the branch, the attack, anim instance, and I feel like it'd be here that we can now add what we are talking about. What did you say before? The sprite is moving to the direction and moves that many steps. Steps are a unit moved in the direction basically that moved a sprite in that way, which after the location is what the smart. I mean, yeah, it's, I think anything in this area of the world is smart. It's not attacking. Jump. Set relative location. It's fascinating what you think can work. It ultimately just fucking doesn't. Let's turn sweep off. What if I keep hammering? And that's at the end of the animation too. Take it, take it. It's time. We'll get there. Maybe not today, but we're cooking. Just using the wrong bread. Now this shit is pissing me off. This can't be me anymore. And why? Like what am I getting stopped by right here? I feel like this thing being over here is the problem. You can't cook bread, you bake it. True. My bad, bro. Frags, remember what we were talking about yesterday with correcting people? That. That. Yeah. When I was talking about we're cooking but we're using the wrong bread, and he said you can't cook bread, you have to bake it. Bro, why is the shark just not showing up? Why is it just this idiot? I bet you. I fucking bet you that if I go into here and I click on Sprite and I change this to I'm a little confused. Is it just because this one's idle? I've been training for days to do walk squats. Some people don't know the language enough to intuitively understand what is meant to be said. When they do understand, it's very important to show their inhuman skills by dragging others through mud. 100%. It's when you're in Russian dance pose and walking. I could do it for a few steps before losing balance. Good for you. It's good hip mobility. So the question of today is why our sprites are not changing, even though they don't exist literally anywhere else. I guess they exist in here. Excuse me. It's fine. It's the way of the Russians. So many rules, bro.
Eject out. I'm dragging up a little legs. So just go into the map and drag this guy out. And can zoom as our character. See, some things work, but the animations don't work because we still need to set up paper ZD for this guy. So we open up the content drawer again, and we can just.
I fucked up something earlier in here with this. I have had to.
In this episode, we're gonna set up our player inputs and also enable the player to turn left and right again.
Hell yeah, and let's get tattoos, brother.
And this is gonna be quite similar to what we did in the Tower Climb project, but there are a couple of differences here and there. First, we want to open up the content drawer and go to the content folder. And here we right click and create a new folder called input. Open it up, and inside here we're going to create a new folder called actions. But this time important thing, which we need to or whatever in between. And for the world direction, map and click to 1 and go to the game. And a simple thing we can do here is in the BP Captain, instead of the what direction of Y, we just give it -1.
You know what? I think it's further back than this.
And as always, we first create tests, so about our inheritions, have an ability attack once it's class 1. But this time around in blueprints, we have the whole player input system again. This one right to be actually is in also come so back if more folders. We knew to keep things organized. And yeah, here in the characters folder we can be paper, Z can be our parent, our children right away. So we can just right click and again right click here, move here, and try by double clicking it. And everything here are things you've already seen and you should be familiar with, right? Because we have the capsule component here, we have the from paper Z so first, and we have the captain idle. And yeah, we just want to position it roughly, so just go over here and yeah, move it 40 to the right. And the capsule is a little bit too big, so we can go to the capsule component.
Doesn't UE5 keep a whole bunch of autosave backups? I wouldn't have the slightest fucking clue, bro. But it's going again. I wouldn't even know where to check.
And here for the capsule half height, the capsule radius, we want to change this a little bit. So yeah, for the half height, I can just drag here, make it smaller, like this. Yeah, so I think 55 is about right. And the radius is fine the way it is. And then just get the sprite and maybe move it up.
Stop swearing. Yo, this sorry bro. I curse like a sailor.
By 10.
That's just a part of me, my dude.
And yeah, so this looks about right. We're inside the capsule, which again we can use our nice trick shirt to right here, chart into the sprite, and yeah, set this from 10 to the game, which we want our speed for shadow. But yes, we are. So again on the sprite, exit out here, and here we have the. And yeah, so this is shining on us natural light. Not having the light, change it on, we get the shadow. Yeah, and get some, because yeah, to attach the spring arm and camera to our character. However, this is not on the action character, but this should only be on the BP captain, because yeah, only the BP captain is going to be controlled by a player. So while we have the capsule component selected, just add and look for spring arm.
Well, today I improved the cam. I came chain steps away more than yesterday. Tomorrow will be more balancing and some walking. Good. Very good. Awesome, dude. I'd be super happy if you shared more of like, you know, your process instead of playing Hangman, you know, and talking about like development stuff. I think that'd be super cool. So now I have to remember.
Like not the cine camera, just the onto and on the fact the hard more distance here. One more thing we want to do is on the spring arm is look for do collision test and remove the check mark, because again it could happen that some objects are inside here in this area. Go into buildings and you open this, close these down. We first want to get rid of this guy, so just select him and delete on the key. Add base can be call this, will click like this and compile and select our but we are controlling the character in a sense, and we are looking through the correct camera. If we press shift and F1 we can eject here, and yeah, you can see that this is one more thing I want to mention is on the characters and the captain. Here for the camera, you can look for the exposure setting, and before we had to change this metering mode, had to change the exposure compensation, but that was only because we had a full on 2D game. In this case we have a 2D 3D hybrid game, and we don't get this issue where the sprites are just blown up and too bright. So in this case we don't have
How's
to
it going, bro?
these settings.
Welcome.
-1 instead of 1, and this enable the player to turn left. There are the and input act also act the three action level like we had last time, and a bit different. We don't have not start and wait. This here can we have click and get controller.
I'm good, bro. Had the afternoon off. Awesome. You doing well, dude? Trying to figure out, I got some fucking issue. Well, I'm working on the camera right now, but like I'm trying to spawn in other idiots and my idiots aren't spawning in, so we're trying to tackle that.
And here we this is enough happens because I and regard actions triggered or started as used on action value. Here is the X, because this is and X icon. So the up and down is inverted for us. And a simple thing we can do here is in the BP captain, instead of
so like right now when I go to play, it switches the camera view. So like, yeah, I can run in the other direction, but then it like literally flips over. Have fun, brother. Appreciate it. What are you trying to play Valorant till like 5? Guys, remember to like the channel, please. Thank you. Yes, maybe, or yes, maybe more. Let me get this camera thing figured out, and then I'm gonna finish up the module. So what time is it? Probably at 4 I'll be available.
And as always, we first create a new
Yeah, go
project
ahead.
with Unreal Engine 5.2 action char. We can select the sprite and just look for shadow, like this, cast shadow, and compile save. And here you can see that yes, it does really be on the camera. Around dynamic angles, kind of things here. More the cap and delete on the keyboard. We need a player support remote loop lights. You need to set the default inputs, but we are control of the camera that we are looking through, and this is all fine. One more thing I want to mention is on the characters and the captain.
What the fuck is this? Is this on like all of them? Yeah, there is. Okay, so what happens if I try and... Oh, never mind. It's still the same fucking dude.
Here for the camera, you can look for the exposure or set. Instead of the what direction of Y, we just give it. The button can either be pressed or not be pressed. However, things are going to be a bit different, right, and up and down. Things are going to be different. Yeah, the button. In this video, we're gonna make this jump and for the so this time not on started but rather on triggered, which happens on every tick. We can add right as direct X direct set the compile UASD. We can already walk around, and this seems like components. So I think you know that is the king. We can right there. That is the component. And other than let's have a velocity to check if one with route here and is drag one to select and connect yaw to 180, and this is gonna flip the controller exactly to the other side. And if you've played some of the modern Resident Evil games, you might know the quick turn feature where you can just turn around and look in the other direction.
Man, want to create your own language with me? I got a dude helping me in Greed, another to make her. No. That is so unbelievably difficult. Thank you for asking. Just understand, bro. I'm like twice your age. I got a lot going on in my life. Adding something to what I'm already doing is a lot. I put a lot of time and effort into the things that I work on. It's nothing personal. I could have swore.
In this video, we'll put together can use time to be we first time the space. And after, let's just or it be here. Map is speaking again and on the front, overexposed sprites. So just look for exposure, and everything else is also going to be sprites. And yeah, we can look at the character, and we can look in the other direction to turn everything on the. And this is actually everything we need to make. So, and we can just connect at this when we click, and if we go, we are unable to speed. And now we can just select all of this and copy paste it. In this lesson, we're actually going to start to use features of character DB and a paper. So we base to move around. We want to cast them. So good it hard and a way easier. In this video, make sure our zero before first we drag from, then just connect. You can also hear the footstep sound that we implemented before in the animation.
I got it. 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 World record for what? Damn, I thought that was it. I don't think that's how it works, bro.
Button can either be pressed or not be pressed, but why? 1, 2, and again, we don't need to change anything. Add another mapping, and here I will first go for the IA throw because it's simpler. And here for the throw, I will use the K key on the keyboard.
Inputs are...
And lastly, the most complicated one is gonna be the IA move. And here we're gonna have multiple inputs. This time I'm not gonna bother doing the arrow keys because yeah, that just takes more time. We're just gonna do WASD for the movement. And we're gonna start with a D. So click here and press D on your keyboard. The way these axes work is that the right is the default axis, so we don't have to change anything here for the modifiers. And we can add another input, and this is gonna be left, the A input. And cap D for now, execute it. So we regarding jump, the button is pressed once, stop, we actually get an input. And here, left, I press D, I walk right, I press S and I walk up. Actually not down, I walk up. And for W, I walk down. So the up and down is inverted for us. And as always, we first...
This is simple. I can figure this out. I can do this. I can do this. Don't get frustrated. I'm new to this. Literally less than 20 hours in. I can figure out why my camera is not working the way that I want it to.
We just get that. You can kind of see what I see more interesting. The BP Captain add bring arm selected, add camera. And not the cine camera, just the normal camera. And yeah, so now on the spring arm, we need to turn around so we can go to this rotate mode here and drag on the blue axis minus 90. So we look at the character from the front. But again, since this is a 2D3 hybrid, we want to also create some more dynamic angles. And here on the...
Yes. 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 Okay. We still have the issue of this idiot spawning. Okay. So... Well done with the camera. Good luck with the idiot. I appreciate that. You out of here, bro? Hmm. Oh, are you like an audio engineer? Just hobby? Cool. My friend who's an audio engineer was helping me with my cooking video the other day. Definitely opened my eyes to what Premiere has to offer. Man. Is that what I'm smelling? One plus O equals 3D. Well, O is X, right? 0 is X. It's like algebra, right? Well, why, bro? What the fuck is the problem? So fucking stupid. Yeah, I'm tight to XG. welcome. There's something in here. There's something in here. And it's just not correct. Just not correct, I tell you. Sure. Yeah, this is sick. Don't worry about it. It's okay. This is definitely action adventure vibes for sure. Little key. I heard that. This gives me what's it called? What's the name of that show? Stranger Things vibes. Like, just imagine you're just on like an open road and you just have like your fucking your like 1960s like Ferrari car. You're cruising in this like a fucking cyberpunk-esque world. If that's what you were going for, what I would say is that this needs like a little bit more of like a drop to it. Like the buildup is great, but to me, because like techno, house music, having that like inspiration, I guess, again, well, I guess any music is like, you know, subjective or objective to whoever is like listening to it, but I guess from my point of view, I'd like to hear like drops at some point. Like, I don't even care if it was like 4 minutes in, because we have like 30 seconds left. But I feel like a harder drop, like not necessarily speeding things up, but maybe adding more of like a, I don't know. I don't know enough about music to really be commenting on this, I think. You would know better than me. Okay, so we're getting to where that we're drawing that tension. Okay, cool. Basically a Twitch stream waiting me. Okay, yeah. Awesome. Do you watch Dr. Disrespect at all? I know you said you don't watch big streamers, but I'm pretty sure all the music that he gets is from one guy, and it's very similar to this. Yeah, let me show you this, and then I'm probably gonna get going. Hang out with Stash. Yeah, his shit's keyboard. That's what I thought it was. I thought I was missing fucking keyboard, bro. That I think if it added just a little bit of keyboard in there, I think that'd be sick. I'll send you one more with another style, and then I'll nah, bro. This all goes. Send me whatever you want. I'm into all this shit. It's like Cloud meeting Aerith for the first time. I sent it. Did you ever play Final Fantasy VII? No problem, bro. Thanks for being here. All right, let's see. Actually, I want to hear how yours fades out, but I want to start this for a sec. Like, I feel like this fits, right? I feel like this fits right into it. Yeah, bro, you make bangers. This shit's dope. So it's not anime, it's not TV, it's music stuff. I see. Is your hobby. Maybe your passion. Alright. I'm gonna try and handle this. I'm gonna try and figure this shit out, and then I'll probably like record what I found and like upload it. But I want to write this down. I have some other shit I need to get done today. Figure out why you can't get another sprite in game. I feel like it has to do with the parent class. Something with this parent class that is not set up properly. I do feel like it's here. Like if I just did yeah, it still doesn't want to give it to me then, even if I change it in the parent. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. Thank you guys for hanging out. As always, I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Probably got to figure that out. All right. I'll talk to y'all in a bit. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.